My music warriors, Gunny back at you, doing round 3 of the Dadpool Derby. Dadpool Derby, all things dad. Hopefully this old dog can give you some advice that might help you as a father. Who knows? But one of the things I thought I'd talk about today is something that you got to remember, and that is time. The biggest thing that I could tell you, the best advice that I can give is no matter what happens, your child needs your time. I can't say it any better, any easier, any more concise than that. Yes, you still have to provide them with shelter. Yes, you still need to provide them with food. Yes, you still need to provide them with clothing on their back. But your economic situation does not dictate how good of a father you are. I could tell you this right now. Being a Marine in the Marine Corps with young kids, I was by and large a corporal or a sergeant, which doesn't make a whole lot of money, but any chance I had to give my time to my children, I took advantage of it, because no matter how hard you try, you can never get that time back. And when your kids are little, man, you guys are their entire world. Parents are a child's entire world. And especially before they go to school. I mean, it's you're everything to them. They will hang on every single word that you say. And it doesn't have anything to do with discipline. It doesn't have anything to do with any of that. It has to do with, you can always show a kid that you love them by giving them your time. And even if it is them sitting right next to you on a couch while you guys share what you're watching. Obviously, we can't watch everything that we want to watch as fathers when the kids are there. And honestly, you're going to watch some shows that you wouldn't normally watch. But as much as I despised Barney, my oldest daughter loved him. She thought he was great. But I watched a lot of Barney with her. My middle daughter loved her Disney movies and different things like that. And so that's what we watched together. To me, it had nothing to do with whether or not I was getting a chance to watch what I wanted to watch. It was about getting a chance to give my child my time, which does not cost me a single thing other than time. And again, the activity doesn't matter. My wife and I have always made tracks. We very seldom sit around the house. We always took the kids to the park. We always took the kids to the zoo, or to a historical park. We used to go to a lot of outdoor activities when the kids were small, because they just love to run around. They just let the kid go and be dirty. But the fact of getting them in the habit of, when the family goes to do something, everybody goes. They did not have a choice. The only time that we would not go and do something as a family is if somebody was sick. And, but that was not a consideration. No one got to stay home. It was just what we did. And, once you establish that, they stop asking. As a matter of fact, we started doing things with them so often with them being small, they just never, it was not ever any different. That was just what we did. You know, we would go to the different concerts and you know, a lot of outdoor concerts and things like that. You know, going to the pool, doing whatever, even if it's just taking an hour to go to a park and letting them play on a playground. Just going and doing things, in our case, the 5 of us, was just something that they grew up doing. And it was always great time together. And so when I was traveling a lot with the Marine Corps, you know, they did have to do things, just the 4 of them, but, you know, my wife still took them out to do things if I was deployed or I was gone for, you know, gone on a 1-month tour or whatever. But when I came home, they got me. You know, that was their time. You know, even if it's playing a board game or playing a video game or, you know, going outside and throwing a ball back and forth. I mean, whatever it is, especially if your kid asks you to do something, your answer should never be no. I hate it. Like if I was sick, which, you know, mind you, was rare, but if I was just not feeling well and I couldn't go outside and do something, you know, oh, good Lord, I hated telling one of my kids, no, I can't go and do that, guys. And I think a lot of that, I heard a song years and years ago when I was a very young, impressionable teenager, and that is Cats in the Cradle. And the song, if you don't know it, you know, listen to it. It really says a lot. Because in the story, you know, the father has a child. Well, the mother has a child. The father has a son, and, you know, he was always so busy. And, you know, the son would want him to go out and play. And, you know, I'm sorry, son, I got to work, and, you know, I have things to do. And, you know, and the chorus went in, you know, I'm going to be just like you, Dad. And, you know, then the second verse is, you know, he's 10 and, you know, he wants the dad to come out and play with him, but dad's too busy. And he's like, okay, Dad, I'm going to be just like you. And then the third verse, he comes home from college and the father is, you know, getting close to retirement, and he just wants to talk to his son that has not been around. And, you know, all the son wants is the dad's car keys. And, you know, the last verse, the father is retired, very old. The son has his own family, and all the father wants is to spend time with his son. And the son is like, well, Dad, I'm just like you. You know, I'm too busy. I can't spend any time with you. And the takeaway from the song, you know, the moral of the story is your children are going to, whether you like it or not, they are going to learn from what you do, and they are going to learn from what you don't do. And if your answer is always yes, let's go, then it becomes just a time to be with your kids and bond. And trust me, you can't get that time back no matter how hard you try. When you're to my age and you're looking at, you know, your youngest kid being 21, they're all out of the house, you miss them fiercely. And you think about them when they were 6, or you think about them when they were 4, or when they were an infant asleep on your chest. And you just think, man, if I had just given them more time. Well, guess what? If you took the time with them and you enjoyed yourself, you gave them that time. So give them your time, and for God's sake, enjoy it while you're doing it, because one day that time will be gone. and it'll be a different stage in your life. It won't be better, it won't be worse, it's just going to be different. But I guess what I'm trying to say is take advantage of the time that you have with your children, because the old saying goes, they're only going to be this age once, you know. And so, yes, Christmas time is so tough, before COVID, of course, is because, you know, you're doing stuff and office parties and this party and that activity and that shopping. But when you go to the kids' Christmas concert or to the choir concert or whatever, enjoy it. Stop. Don't think about what you want, you know, what else you want to do. Don't think about that show that you want to watch, because guess what? The show is always going to be there. There might be a day that your kid is not going to be there and you want him there, and you can't have him there. So take the time when you have the time. Take the time when you really don't have the time, because you will truly, truly thank yourself years down the road. I miss my kiddos being small. I do. And I love my kiddos not being small. I do. So the thing about it is enjoy what you're doing when you're doing it with them. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. You know, I did daddy dates with my girls. Once they turned 6, they got to start going out on separate daddy dates. And so that was really, and for fathers, that is a fantastic time, because especially if you have more than one kid, that gives that one child your undivided attention, and they really, really need that. And that gives them the time to tell you all the stuff that is important to them. And because it's important to them, it should be important to you. But the greatest thing about that is that always gave me the time to talk to my girls about, you know, years down the road when they were 6, they were 7, they were 8, years down the road when they were going to start dating. And that gave me the opportunity, and that gave me an audience that they were right there. And it gave me the opportunity to teach my daughters what to expect from young men who are, you know, interested in them, and things that they could watch for, indicators, you know, how that boy treats, say, like the waiters and waitresses and different things like that. That gives them the opportunity to, you know, gives you the opportunity to talk to them, to educate them, to warn them, you know. That was often, because I was in the Marine Corps, that was a lot of times when I would talk to my daughters about self-defense, and not necessarily what to do in a situation if they're attacked, but maybe how to avoid the situation altogether. Things to do if you're ever walking by yourself, or, you know, telling them that it's okay for an 18-year-old girl to ask someone to walk them to her car so she's not there by herself. You know, just different things like that. And when I took my son out, it wasn't a daddy date, it was just called boys' night. And so, you know, with Avery, it was usually different. It was movies, and because we would usually do what the kids wanted to do, you know. And sometimes it was go on a bike ride for an afternoon. Other times it was, you know, go to a batting cage, you know, or go see a movie, or, you know, Avery loved to go to concerts. And, you know, it was just their time to have me all to themselves. And that paid dividends. because I developed a relationship with each one of my children individually. And so, you know, like when my oldest daughter was reading the Harry Potter books, my wife and I read the Harry Potter books too. And that wasn't because we really necessarily wanted to read the Harry Potter books. It's because we wanted to be able to talk to our kids about the Harry Potter books. It was a subject of conversation. And so when you're talking about it more intelligently, that's really, really great. And so, you know, a lot of times when Alexa and I were out on a daddy date, we would just talk about books, and we would talk about, you know, the storyline of Harry Potter, or, you know, or as she got a little bit older, Twilight. Yeah, because remember, they were books before they were movies. Anyway, so it was just whatever. But time, guys, time. Give your children time. They need it, they want it, and it makes you happy too. And if it doesn't make you happy, maybe you need to look at the mirror at yourself and ask, why the hell did I have kids in the first place? Okay? So, and just on that idea, guys, when you're trying to get with a girl, when you're trying to chat somebody up, don't just have sex. Because when you have a partner like that, you need to think of everything that could happen. And one of the things that could very easily happen is she could get pregnant. And then you are tied to that person for the rest of your life and for the rest of your child's life, no matter which way you slice it. So that should be your indicator. If you don't want anything to do with that person, beyond just what you can do in a bed or up against a wall or wherever it is that you want to do that, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it, because it very well could produce a child, and that child is going to require your time and your money. So I don't know, just some friendly advice there, but you know, your takeaway on this is time. You've got to put time in as a father. And yes, there are times that it gets annoying, and there are times that I just love it, but it's still going to be time. And if there's one thing that you really, really need to be good at, that's being a parent, because how good you are as a parent is going to determine how good your kid is as a person. And believe it or not, it's going to dictate how good your kid is at being a parent, because they are going to take cues from the way it was when they were raised. So just some food for thought from Gunny. And as always, guys, peace out. Love you all. We'll see you again.